Greetings, my friend. It is time. It is time for something that you are likely ill prepared for. Something so significant that everyone in different time zones wake up at the same time to see it. It doesn't matter what time of the day. Everyone's awake on Earth when this is right now, because you're watching it and it's coming out right now. Everyone knows about it. It's a great phenomenon. It's absolutely all-encompassing, and it applies to everyone alive. There's no resisting it, and there's no leaving until the end. This will be a life-changing experience for you, and without consuming the entirety of this content, you will never, I repeat, you will never sleep again. That means you'll die. If you don't sleep, you die for some reason. It's pretty weird. I don't understand it. Why do humans need, sleep to survive? It's pretty strange. I understand that it has many healthy regenerative effects, and that's why I'm trying to contribute to people's sleep. But why do you die? You die? That's pretty dramatic, okay? Imagine not dying from sleep. That's pretty embarrassing. I would be pretty embarrassed. I don't know about you, but you just awake for so long you die. You just sleep. You just catch up on all that sleep. So this is the Great Tapping Extravaganza. The Great Tapping Extravaganza. The Great Tapping Extravaganza. That's right. The Great Southern Trendkill. Alright, are you ready for this? Today, for our first trigger, there's going to be a couple new and a couple old. This is a brand new one. This is Tchaikovsky's Pathetique Symphony, number 6. And, just look at this guy. This must have come from the 60s or something. This guy is he looks like a pedophile now, but back then that was normal. That was cool. So this is Tchaikovsky's Symphony number 6 in B minor, Pathetique, which means emotional, Beethoven's Pathetique, whatever. He had a Pathetique too. I don't listen to Beethoven that much, but he was my theory teacher's favorite composer. So let's get right into this. Brand new trigger for you guys. I'm going to try not to be too close to the mic, because I believe that's been true in the past. Tchaikovsky, I was obsessed with him when I was 18 or so, which is not that long ago, but I'm much grown since then, and I continue to adore him to this day. He is a tremendous influence. He was absolutely a tremendous influence on my work, more so now than when I listen to him. The biggest influences to my work now are probably Death and the Beach Boys or something, probably. That's how I would describe my music. There's Death and the Beach Boys, and then I'm right in the middle of that. But anyway, I have Tchaikovsky's diaries somewhere. I don't know where they are. I never read it, but I hope I have it somewhere. Unless it's like in my school library or something. I left it there probably. Hopefully not, though. I bought these at a yard sale. These vinyls. That this is from the collection of. And apparently it was someone's dad's and he died. So now he's listening to the Great Symphony Orchestra in the sky somewhere. So I want to treat them with real respect and delicacy. So I'm going to be quite careful in doing this. But there aren't many cardboard boxes like this, or sleeves. So this ought to be pretty good and unique, I think. He was a very sad man, Tchaikovsky. He was very pathetique, which is not his language, by the way. Pathetique is probably French. And he was one of the great Russian composers of our time, of someone else's time. And he opened up Carnegie Hall in New York. I watched Carnegie Hall. I'm not sure I've ever been to Carnegie Hall, actually. But if I did, that's the place that I listened to his, Tchaikovsky's, violin concerto. I believe that's what it was. A very sad guy he was. He is believed by some to have killed himself. Though the official claim that is made about his death is that he passed from the cholera outbreak that was occurring in Russia toward the end of his life. Here's the thing about that. He was a gay man who had homosexual affairs. And, he lived in 1800s Russia, so that wasn't really, they don't have pride parades over there in the 1800s. I don't know why gay is something to be proud of at all, but anyway. Apparently, those who claim that he killed himself, or some who claims that he killed himself, or who believe it, believe that he killed himself because he was going to be found out. His homosexual affairs were going to be found out, were going to be found, were going to be known about by everyone, because he was tremendously, by the end of his life, he was tremendously famous. So some believe that he killed himself so no one knew he was gay. The other story, if you take the contrary opinion, that he didn't kill himself, is that he got cholera from a glass of water he drank at a restaurant. Well, first let me tell you my counterpoint. Counterpoint? Yeah, counterpoint. First let me tell you my counterpoint to why the homosexual thing is probably not true. He was a very famous composer, as we mentioned. And this, I understand. This is a counterpoint. I'm not saying I believe it, but playing devil's advocate, which is an instrument that they used in this symphony, actually. Playing devil's advocate. Why would the Tsar of Russia at the time kill off or imprison or whatever? Why would he punish the most popular, famous musician, composer in the country, who was touring the world in the 1800s, opening up halls in America, like all this amazing stuff he did? Why would he want to get rid of that just because he had an affair? So the contrary story, if he didn't kill himself, is that he drank a glass of water in a restaurant, and that gave him cholera. Counterpoint. Why would the restaurant that Tchaikovsky of all people, why would that restaurant not do the simple act of boiling the water he received? That's all you have to do to get rid of cholera in the water. You have to boil it. Why would they not cleanse the water that Tchaikovsky, our boy Tchaikovsky, was drinking? Seems a little... I'm not saying I believe it, but it's questionable. Boiling water, even then, is quite a simple thing. Quite a simple thing. Now, the argument for his suicide is that cholera has very similar symptoms to arsenic poisoning. So if he is to have killed himself, he is believed to have done it with arsenic so that it can be blamed on cholera. He was very sad all his life. I do believe he killed himself, but apparently it's like disproven, whatever. I did quite a bit of research on this guy. But anyway, let's move on to the next trigger. I love you. I'm going to listen to some Tchaikovsky today. The next trigger is something that you may recognize. The leather-bound journal. Also known as the Book of Proven Existence. If you've seen my video confirming that you do exist, which might be good for you because you might not be sure. You might believe in things like simulation theory, Muse's newest, most recent album. It sucked though. There's literally only one good song on that album called Pressure. It's the only one. Like, that album's so bad. It's the worst Muse album. It's the worst Muse album. And that's not that hard to say, because basically every other Muse album has at least a couple great songs. At least a couple. This one just has one good song. It's not like amazing, but it's a good song. I like it. Pressure. Seemed like some weird sellout sort of album, which, you know, I can appreciate that they were trying to do something new, do something creative. And I appreciate the contrast. I appreciate how much different this album was to the last, because the last one was like really hard rock and like, not really hard rock, but they were like going back to the roots of just guitar, bass, and drums, and not all these beautiful synths like Stockholm Syndrome chorus and all that. So, some of you might not believe that you exist. So I have a video that confirms whether you do or not. If you would be interested in that. That is why this is known as the journal, the book of proven existence. And I hope you enjoy. That is why this book is known as the book of proven existence. I know that I exist. You guys, not so much. I take after the late, great Laffy Taffy. Well, he's not late. Take after the early, great Laffy Taffy. And we are going to develop a rhythm. And after we develop such a thing, we're going to break it. There are definitely several things we could do here. Such as open page tapping on a different page. On a different page. I did a lot less research on leather-bound journals than Tchaikovsky, if you couldn't tell. So let's talk about you potentially not existing. There are some things, some theories, such as simulation theory, as we talked about. Muse's horrible new album. And there's also, I don't know, it's basically the main one, right? Because the reality is this. It's either we're on our way to developing simulations, as we talk about, we lose interest, or we lose capability to make it because we're heading in that direction. I mean, I truly personally believe that there's going to be a point in society, because we're so good at not having to interact with each other. I believe that there's going to be a point in society where all life is going to be is work and simulation. Work and simulation. Yeah, you do whatever you gotta do to keep society from crumbling, sure. And then people will just come home and delve into fantasy land with their virtual reality, AI, instead of people they'll be interacting with, NPCs that are all AI and they're just like different individual people. And we'll artificially get our social needs met. And you can do whatever you want, you know. That's the great part about fantasy, is you can do whatever the hell you want. You could be a dragon with J-cup titties and, you know, a giant cock and with like bird wings coming out of your head. And you can eat like moldy tofu and not throw up from it. And if you do throw up, it'll be virtual. You won't have to care. You could just be, there's no throw up there. Instant mess clean. You just deleted the mess. But there are other ways which you cannot exist. For example, you might be dead. Watching that video that I made. So the question is, do dead people exist? Well, they did. And the idea of them exists. But is that all it takes to exist? An idea. Because if an idea is all it takes for something to exist, then vampires exist. And the Loch Ness Monster exists. And God exists if all it takes is an idea. That's not to say I don't believe God exists. That's not to say that if not all it takes is just an idea for something to exist, that God doesn't exist. But if all it takes to exist is the thought of you existing, then God definitely exists. And another question would be, if an idea is not all it takes, what does it take to exist? Is it a body? Is the body really what people make it out to be? Is the body really you? Is someone's body themselves? And if the body is the self, then perhaps might that be the only component required to exist? And if the body is the self, then that means you always exist. That means Paul Revere still exists because his ashes are somewhere or something like that. His body still is, it's a thing until it's gone. And if the body is what it takes to exist, then could existence require or permit more than one thing? For example, like, if the body is what it takes to exist, I'm not saying it does, but assuming so, then is there a soul? Would the requirement for existence permit something else? Multiple parts of you? Or is there a soul at all? Is there something separate than the body that carries consciousness? This is more than just having video, apparently, but... And perhaps there is a soul, and assuming there is a body required for one thing to exist? And this is just talking about people. We could be talking about many things. We could be talking about, we could be talking about other planets or like other species that people have developed and made up. And like, let's say that aliens exist. We don't know. We've never seen them. But we think about them, and many people, including myself, believe that they're around and that they have to be somewhere and that we are aliens to them. But we don't know. We don't have any proof. We don't have a body. We don't have an example of their body. And so, if we don't have those things, but we have the idea of the alien, does that exist? Perhaps there is a body out there, but we're unaware. People still believe. People believe they have. People believe they are aware and they have seen things. But UFO conspiracies are a little weird to me. It's just like, you're some farmer in fuck all nowhere. Why would they be interested in you? Why would they be interested in visiting you? Like, they wouldn't visit a city, like a major, where there's millions of, I don't know how many people are in a city, but millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people. I'm talking about New York City, because that's my closest, so like nothing is a city compared to that. No offense, but, maybe take offense if you took offense. I don't want you to be ingenuine, of course. So anyway, that's a leather-bound notebook. Now, that was a little more than just tapping, for sure, but now we have this brick I found on the ground. This thing is... I went to the phone store. And very few days later, this thing, my phone, that I was supposed to get $400 toward a new one for, starts dying at 100%. That is tragic. I don't want any glass to come out of this thing into my fingers. I already feel tiny glass shards going to my finger that I imagine you can't see. But anyway, this starts dying at 100%. I'm supposed to trade this thing in about probably a week or so from now. And I'm supposed to get $400 for it, as well as plenty of vital information. I'm going to try to tap on the screen. So I'm trying to use it, and it's not working out. Dies. I'm just trying to do one TikTok, man. One TikTok. Super simplicity. Doesn't work out. So I accidentally dropped it. Very hard. In the form of a pelt. On purpose. Not only am I probably going to lose the $400 I was supposed to receive, but I'm also probably going to lose any vital information I have. So be it. Life goes on. Plus, I'm not even certain I'm going to lose anything. So I'm not going to convince myself that I'm upset about anything. Because even if there was loss, that's an inherent part of life that's meant to be dealt with, that should be dealt with. Otherwise, you dwell in the past and you lose the present and you lose the future if you continue to lose the present. If you lose the present, let's say you don't appreciate the present. Even if you haven't lost anything, let's just say you're like, hey, I'm working right now and I want to be somewhere and I have goals and I want to reach that goal. Eventually you're going to reach that goal if you do the work. But then you'll be there. And then that time, whenever you've reached your goal, will be the present. Once it's occurred. And then it'll become the past. So once you've reached that goal, and it's become present, then you're still failing to appreciate the present. You're going to be in this endless loop. And so the only way to be appreciative of anything you do, because now you're further than where you used to be, is to appreciate the present. Because right now, where you are right now, you've achieved goals that you had in the past, and if you're not appreciating the present, then you're not appreciating what you were saying in the past that you want in the future. So if in the past you were like, oh yeah, I want to get a degree, and now you have that degree, and now you have a goal to get a job with that degree, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll be happy when I'm a teacher, or whatever the degree, I'll be happy when I have a job pertaining to my degree. Then when you get that job, you're saying, oh, I'll be happy once I'm tenured as a teacher. Let's just go with teacher. I'll be happy when I'm tenured. I definitely can't lose. Then you're a teacher, and you're like, oh, I'll be happy on summer vacation. It's always the future. It's always, and then the present, and then the future comes, and then it's the present, and you're still thinking about the future, and then you lose it, and then I don't know how we got here. I don't know how we got to talking about this, but you lose all your life that way, because the present, the future becomes the present, and if you're still thinking about the future and the present, that present becomes past, and so in the past you're just thinking about how to get to the future. So like it's just an infinite cycle of unappreciativeness. And so I think appreciation is really the key to happiness. Appreciation is so valuable. You could appreciate anything. Some people say, oh, I got a shitty job. Oh, I got this job, I hate my job. I wish I could be doing my dream. It's like you're comparing your right now to your absolute, like, ultimate wish. You probably can't even see my hand over the camera. If you're not appreciating then, you'll never appreciate when you get there. Plus, if you compare anything to the best of what it could be, then it's going to look like shit, because the best is excellent. Everything looks like shit compared to the best. So, the goal is to appreciate now. Let's say you want that job, right? And you're working minimum wage at McDonald's right now. Let's say Taco Bell, because fuck McDonald's. They took so much of my money through addiction, not through quality. But anyway, as you can see, I've gained some weight recently, so anyway, people usually say fuck you to me when I say I gain weight, but let's say you're working that minimum wage job at McDonald's, at Taco Bell. People say, oh, I have this shitty job and I want to do something more, but the reality is you have a job. That's awesome. That's something to be proud of. Unlike being gay, something to be appreciative of. And listen, I say that gay thing because when I think of pride, I think that you need to do something to be proud of. Like, gay people make the argument that sexuality is not chosen, and I agree to some point. But then those people say that, like, they're proud. Like, what are you proud of? You're proud that you like sucking cock? That's not your fault. It's just like, I'm not proud that I want to eat pussy. It's just like, what happened? It's not my fault. I didn't do anything. I'm not proud to be American. What did I do to be American? I was born to people who lived here already. I'm very appreciative to be American, which is why I'm happy to be American, because I'm appreciative. But proud doesn't make any sense. I'm not proud to be Latin. I didn't do shit. I was born, okay? So what? That's nothing to be proud of. I didn't do anything. So anyway, we should probably be done with this thing. The next trigger you may have seen if you saw my first low quality video. Much lower quality than these, so I mean, but I was appreciative back then. We made it somewhere new, and I'm appreciative now. And we're going to go somewhere in the future, and I'll be appreciative of that. This thing is truly excellent. If you ask me, I would love for someone to do ASMR with this, who's not me, because I can't really give myself ASMR. Just listen. Is that thing excellent or what? But this is a tapping video. In fact, it's the Great Tapping Extravaganza. So, it's the most significant tapping video you'll ever see. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to sleep ever again. But this might be something you recognize from the first video I ever made, actually. Let me just shout out this company. I cannot read that. Looks like a Japanese company, or looks like it's written in some Asian language. I don't know if you can see that at all. But under it, in extremely small text, it says Cyclone Toys. So shout out to Cyclone Toys for making such a great sounding Rubik's Cube. I don't know if it was their intention, but they said, oh yeah, we'll make the greatest Rubik's Cube that ever to be used in ASMR. And here it is. I love it. I love it. Fuck yes, Cyclone, you did it. Eiji. Furutukeji. Scott. Everyone. I don't know how to do these things, but I used to have a friend who did, and he was my only friend for a while during high school. And that friend, he used to do these things really quickly. He used to have giant hands, like seriously creepy. He would probably do some interesting ASMR. He would probably do some unique ASMR because of his hands. And he's the one who got me into composing music. He's the reason I listened to that Tchaikovsky Symphony, and the reason I researched him, though he wasn't he was never a big fan of Tchaikovsky. He just got me into those, some composers I've never been interested in before. I don't want to say genre, because it's not a genre. No such thing as genre. There's such a thing as style, but that's unique to everyone who makes music. Unless you're just like regurgitating marketing material instead of creating art. Nothing against marketing, man. Nothing against going for that bag. I just don't understand why people do it in music. There are many better ways to make money. But, nothing against it. I totally respect the grind. I totally respect going for the bag. I'm just not one to make TikTok songs. Like, purposefully make songs to be used in TikTok. It's pretty crazy. But he played me a Muse song. I didn't like him when I first met him. I thought he was, like, annoying. I didn't understand him. And then he played this song, Neutron Star Collision, by Muse. I first discovered that song as a young kid. I really hope audio is recording. I first heard that song as a young kid. Just exploring the on-demand menu of Optimo or something. And I was like, oh, music. And I saw this name to a song. Neutron Star Collision. This is when the Twilights were still coming out. Because that song was written for New Dawn. Or something, I think. Like New Moon or something. And Neutron Star Collision. I was like, oh, my head blew up like a Neutron Star Collision. My mind exploded, Because I'd never heard that terminology in my life. I was a little kid. And it was very strange and unique. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And so I listened to it, and it was like these awesome dudes just dancing in this like psychedelic looking room with all these flashing lights and colors. And so I fell in love with that, and I did not know. I did not know what it was. I couldn't find it for years. I didn't understand, and I always thought about it. And I didn't know what to look up. I didn't know how to find it. And so eventually I heard this song called Time Is Running Out on the radio. And so that got me into listening to Muse. I listened to that song over and over and over the day that I found it. Even though it's not that good. But it's alright. It's good. That's just what I do. When I find things, I just repeat it constantly until it becomes a part of me. And so I found this song, Neutron Star Collision. I found this song, Time Is Running Out. I started listening to Muse. I started looking to the discography over and over. And eventually, I was like, oh my god, this is the video. This is what I saw when I was a kid. I didn't even know the name of it. It was what I saw when I was a kid. And I was so excited. And I was like, oh my god, I really found it. And it's Neutron Star Collision. And so this guy I met who can do the Rubik's Cube, I didn't like him at first in high school. People seem to be into him, but he's like, and he's like, yo, you like Muse, right? And I was like, yeah, they're pretty good, because I was like, I was obsessed with me. It was literally all I listened to was that one band. I was addicted. I had like 7 Muse shirts, and that's all I wore. And he said, hey, listen to this. And he plays Neutron Star Collision on the piano, and I was like, oh my god. I was just blown away. My mind was blown like a Neutron Star Collision. And oh my god. Then I fell in love with him. Then we were friends ever since that. He totally changed my mind, my opinion about him. And so basically he was my only friend in school for a while, because I did not know how to talk to people. I was very shy. I was very standoffish. I was very reserved. I was very edgy and mysterious. And not in a good way, sort of antisocial. And which, that's not bad if you're an introvert, that's not a bad thing. But if you're antisocial and it wasn't because I wanted to be, it was because I just was not happy or confident. I just lacked confidence. That's completely different than being introverted, which is a choice. It could be a choice, but I lacked confidence completely, and I just wasn't a social guy, and so he was basically my only friend for a while. And then he went off to music school, that was what I was gonna do too, because I already write fucking awesome music, so why would I be $100K in debt? No thanks. I'm okay. Thanks a lot, American school system and federal government. Thank you. Thank you, federalized school. That's excellent. So the whole thing for me about college, that was the Rubik's Cube, by the way. That was the Cyclone Toys Rubik's Cube. Absolutely excellent item. If you guys like this, I'll do a whole other video on it, because I know this is a tapping video, but come on. Is that not excellent? I'm giving myself ASMR live right now in person. So if you guys like that thing, let me know. We'll have it back again, just for straight whole video. I did it in a trigger showcase, but that was about it. I think it's pretty cool. So the last item is a pomade container. It's all natural. It's you can eat it. It doesn't taste that bad. As you might be able to tell, I'm almost out. This is a Primal Wolf pomade made right here on Long Island, where I live. Pretty great stuff. It's like my favorite pomade I ever used. And this is a new item. You guys have not seen this yet. If you dig it, I'll do a trigger showcase. Let me know. Same with any of these items. If you guys dig whatever I'm doing here, please, I would love for you to let me know, because I am truly here to serve. I am truly here to contribute. This is not for me. I want to give to you, and I want to be able to help you in some way, contribute to my compatriots, and whatever the word for fellow earthlings is. And so yeah, this is for you guys. If you're into it, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're into, and let me know what you want to see in the future. Maybe something that we haven't done yet, maybe something we've done in the past that you would like to return. Just let me know, and I'll be happy to accommodate. Yeah, this is what I'm here for. I'm doing this all the time, man. Let's do it. So the thing about college for me, as I was saying, is I already do great work. I'm already what I consider to be a satisfactory composer, and I'm working on learning audio engineering. But I'm doing that through means of the free internet. So, why would I have to go to school when the internet is free and you can learn anything? Not to mention federalized schooling. Think of this, okay? Here's something I thought about when I was considering going to school, or maybe a little bit after. Here's something I thought about. College is an institution that is, college is a private business, Colleges are private businesses that are promoted through an institution that's mandatory for every single child born to go through, required by the federal government. So, first of all, it's completely, it's not the free market at all. The federal government picks winners and losers, which is a tremendous problem. And colleges are big, huge example of how the federal government chooses winners and losers, which harms the free market. And so there's no other private business in the world, in the country, that is promoted by the federal government within an institution that every child in the country has to go through. They have to. Yes, yeah, you can do Montessori schools, or you can do private schools, or you can do homeschooling. But in public school, at least in public school, college is promoted as if it's necessary and as if it's the next step in life. This puts many people in debt. I mean, people take out credit cards to buy consumer goods and things like that. It's really a tremendous issue. And so this is why I choose not to go. It's not worth it, especially for me. I would have been composition and philosophy. Like, that's absolutely just an absolute waste of money. And so, I mean, that's why I didn't go. That's why I'm not friends with that guy I was telling you about, the Rubik's Cube neutron star collision guy. He went to college. He's doing his own thing, whatever. He went for composition like I would have gone for. Okay, if you want. He tells me he likes his style now less than he did when he went in. It's like, I don't know what to do about you. But anyway, all I'm saying, man, is that it's a problem with the federal government, how it acts, but don't think you have to do anything in this life. You have choices in everything you do, and those choices will define who you become. If you want to be a 35-year-old still paying off debt from when you were 20, that's your prerogative. I think that there are plenty of degrees that are useful. Like, you need a degree if you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. Yeah, they always say that. It's true. Some degrees are absolutely useful. I'm not saying that education isn't valuable. But college, you can educate yourself for completely free via the internet. And college is a private business, okay? They're not here to better the world. They're promoted by the federal government, if not helped more, which I'm not saying they are, but as far as I know, they're only promoted by the federal government. And they're a private business. They want your money. That's their number one goal. So they do their best to brainwash children to receive their money or their parents' money when they become a teenager. So, I mean, choice is up to you, and there are definitely really useful degrees, and you should get educated. Everyone should be educated, and everyone should always be constantly educating, because if you're not growing, you're just dead. And so, I'm not against education. I'm pro-education in every way. I think you should learn every day. But I am anti-college. At least for me. It's not the right choice for me. It's not the right choice for a lot of people who choose to go. So that's what I gotta say about college. Consider that, you know. And if you can think of a different private business that is promoted in an institution that every American child is forced to go through, let me know, because I would love to. I'm very interested in this topic. I'm not talking about Bic, the pencil company. I'm talking about promote. They tell you like that's what you do. In school you make your college resumes and everything. This like the whole point of school, so you can go to college. I mean, that's what people make the point out to be. So if there's any other private business that's promoted in that sort of way, let me know. I'm interested to know. But goddamn. We've explored a lot today. I hope you're sleeping and not like thinking, listening intently like an intellectual. But yeah, my mind's just racing today. I'm having a good time with you guys, so I mean, I'm not complaining in any way, trust me. When I get talking, time flies. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this with me. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to embark on this journey with me. This is the most significant ASMR video you'll ever watch, because if you don't watch it, you will never sleep again. So thank you so much. Let me know what you liked. If we got a couple new triggers here, so let me know if you want to see a showcase of those, or if you want to see them in a future video. Leave some comments down below if you want anything more out of this channel, or if you found any of the ideas that I apparently was ranting about interesting, because I think they're all interesting, and I didn't mean to talk like that today. It wasn't the plan, but it just ended up happening. And I mean, I just got a chemistry with this guy right here, and with this chick, you know. And so thank you very much for being here. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join me. As always, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment if you want anything more, if you have any thoughts about the video, and I mean, just Godspeed, be excellent to others.